welcome to a whole new series on the channel featuring tons of product, tons of Yu-Gi tubers with an £80 budget every month and a tournament against these Yu-Gi tubers. Welcome to the Sealed Only League. Hello guys, Robot1 here along with Charmander in the background, and welcome to episode 5 of the Sealed Only League. Funny to think we're actually on episode 5. It's been 2 months now since we've started this series, and it's actually crazy to think how have we gone this far so far, going against different Yu-Gi tubers, spending £80 over the last 2 months at £80 each month, and now we're here in the 3rd month of the Sealed Only League after the second tournament out of the Sealed Only League. It's absolutely insane to actually think that. But guys, welcome to episode 5 of the Sealed Only League, where in today's video we're going to be going over the duels we went against in the Sealed Only League Tournament 2, where we're month 2, and we're also going to be opening some products and obviously upgrading our deck a bit for the Sealed Only League along with the game. So guys, welcome to episode 5 of the Sealed Only League. Let's get into the duel discussion. So month 2 tournament report time of the Sealed Only League. Now, obviously, month 2 was a lot different to month 1 in terms of the Sealed Only League, for the fact that, well, I chose to play a completely different strategy. I chose to go in with the Machina strategy for the pure fact that, well, the Counter Fairy strategy is strong and all, but I felt like because obviously the other Yu-Gi tubers are going to know what I'm playing at this point and know that I'll be playing the Counter Fairy strategy, they would have a lot more back row removal and a lot more disruption to stop me from being able to stop them. So I chose to swap from the Counter Fairy strategy to the new strategy, which was the Machina strategy. I chose to play the Machina strategy in month 2 of the Sealed Only League, and honestly, I think it performed a lot better than the Counter Fairy strategy. Even though our record wasn't as good as month 1, which was X1 record with 3 rounds, I felt like in month 2 we still did a lot better in terms of 1, consistency, playability, and just all around enjoyment. Because Counter Fairy was fun to play, but I much more enjoyed the Machina strategy compared to the Counter Fairy strategy, because there was just a lot more you could do in the Machina strategy compared to the Counter Fairy strategy, where you only summoned really these little fairy monsters and you didn't really do anything else, whereas in Machina it's just summoning these giant monsters that have really cool effects. So I chose to switch to that strategy, and I feel like it played a lot better, and I feel like that's going to be the strategy that we might go on from now on. And for a couple other reasons, because of obviously the Drytron strategy is our main goal, but a couple of purchase choices have actually made me realize that I might have to not play Drytron. But anyway, let's actually get into the point of this segment, which is talking about the tournament rounds that we played in the Sealed Only League month 2. So round 1, we ended up going up against Yu-Gi-Oh! Really fun game, to be honest. We had a lot of back and forth games where at one point both of us had no cards on board, no cards in hand, and we were in a top decking situation. He was playing a lot of trap cards such as Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute. I was playing trap cards that had revivability and also big monsters such as the Machina monsters, and it was just a really good back and forth game. But at the end of that game it ended in a draw. So we did end up in the first round with a draw, which wasn't the best thing, but as long as I got 1 more win, it would count as a positive record, because we're doing 3 rounds and 1 draw does seem to count as positive in this tournament. So I would still be able to get my unlock for this month. Now, round 2 though, we played against Zephyr War Games again. Really fun dude to play against, honestly. He's a great strategist and really does think through a lot of his plays, and he was ending up playing the Ice Barrier structure deck, where he was trying to go into his combos. I was playing my Machina strategy, which gave me accessibility into Raigekis through Machina Citadel, so that hindered him quite a bit, along with also playing cards like Solemn Judgment and also the Raigekis and also Solemn Strikes, just prevented him from playing the game and actually just got me the win there as well. And he also did say, sadly, at the beginning of the duel that he did slightly misbuild his Ice Barrier structure deck, realizing that there was a few things that he didn't put in or shouldn't have put in his deck. So even still though, it was a fun game to play against him. He ended up making Xyz monsters, which I didn't expect for him to make, and it was really fun to play against him there as well. And then in the final round, we ended up playing against Turn the Cog Games again. Great guy to play against. Honestly, he's a good guy, and I really did enjoy playing against him. And he was playing his Shadow strategy again as well, where he went ahead and used all of his Shadow cards to essentially kill me, using cards like BLS, using all these different cards that really did disrupt my plays, making the construct having infinite resource ability thanks to Red Shadow Fusion being able to revive it. In game 1, he even set 5 and passed, and I still lost lost that game because he had Sinister Shadow Games that just send shit to the graveyard, started giving him advantage. I bottomless his Construct, he revived it with an aerial, and then game 2, I just drew the bad hands and I was unable to play the game. So yeah, that game was a lot of fun though. It was cool. It's always nicer to play Tone the Cog, seeing as I played him in month 1 as well, and again in month 2 now, and honestly just playing against these guys was a lot of fun. But nonetheless, at the end of the month 2, we ended up with a 1-1-1 record, so 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw, still giving us enough to get an unlock in the sealed only league. But nonetheless, it's still an unlock. I was still happy to go positive technically in terms of the tournament rules, and we ended up being able to unlock some new products in this series. And the product we actually chose to unlock this month is Duel Devastator, which we're going to be opening in this video as well, guys. So seeing as we talked about the tournament rounds, all these guys are really cool to play with, and their links are in the description, guys, so please go check them out. Let's go ahead and move over to the opening portion of this video, where we'll go ahead and open up our Duel Devastators. So let's go ahead and go over to that. We are in the opening portion of the video now, and obviously with the start of the opening portion of the video, and seeing as this is the first sealed only league episode of the month, we have got to choose a Lost Art promo. And the promo that I chose this month, seeing as in month 1 we chose Solemn Judgment, month 2 we chose Solemn Judgment, in month 3 we're gonna choose, no, it's not Solemn Judgment, it's Monster Reborn. And I chose Monster Reborn as our Lost Art promo for this month for a couple of reasons. Seeing as Monster Reborn is just a really, really insane card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, and I'm not actually buying any product that contains Monster Reborn for a good while, I think, that I instantly thought, hey, we should be getting Monster Reborn. And honestly, seeing as Monster Reborn is just an absolutely insane card and will be really insane for the Machina strategy, seeing as it looks like I'm going to be playing that now going forward, it seems to be a really, really useful card to use in the Sealed Only League for a couple of reasons. One, we can go ahead and steal any of our opponent's boss monsters that they summon from the graveyard, which would just be really, really nice. And 2, being able to revive monsters in the Machina structure decks is actually really, really important from what I realized throughout the tournament. Seeing as Machina Possessed Storage is the only revival monster we've really got in the deck outside of like Back to Front Lines, which is the other revival card we played, I felt having a spell card that would just give us revivability at any time, reviving our Machina Possessed Storage from the graveyard to allow us to summon it back and then go into place there, or being able to just summon a monster from our opponent's graveyard that we can use to our advantage, is going to be really, really strong. And seeing as also if we get into a position where we need to go ahead and summon something from the graveyard so we can get that additional damage, this card will actually just come in clutch at times. So I felt like this was the correct card to unlock for this month of the Sealed Only League. And honestly, Monster Reborn is just a really, really powerful card, and the Lost Art version of Monster Reborn, best version of Monster Reborn in my opinion. I love the Unk. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the feathers with the little dagger and everything, but nothing beats the Unk, man. It's just such a lovely artwork with like the Unk in the middle, then the blue background. I love it. But that's the Lost Art promo that I've decided to unlock for this month. But let's actually get now into the product that I've decided to open for this month, which, as you saw just a second ago, is Duel Devastator. Now, I've never actually opened Duel Devastator on the channel before because, well, it's Duel Devastator. It's never been a product that I've really needed because I've pretty much got everything in it outside of, you know, like maybe 1 or 2 cards. And seeing as going into Duel Devastator in the Sealed Only League is actually really important because we get so many good cards like Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, as you can see here, Ghost Cherries, Dogwood, and even Haunted Mansion, which is just really, really good cards. I thought, yeah, this is going to be my unlock for this month, and seeing as we have an actual £80 budget, and we're not doing more than 2 episodes of Sealed Only League this month, because obviously we only have 2 weeks until we actually get into the next tournament, we are going to be opening 2 Duel Devastator in this video today. Yeah, we're going to be opening 2 of these. I honestly thought that there's not really a point in making 2 separate episodes of the Sealed Only League for 2 different Duel Devastators. So in this month of the Sealed Only League, we're going to be opening these 2 Duel Devastator boxes, and we're going to be using them to improve our Machina structure deck strategy. Hopefully these will give us a lot of cards in it. Like, there are a lot of strong cards in it, and it is a guaranteed set with like really only one difference, I think, in the field center. That's the only difference in this set. And yeah, we also got some sleeves as well, guys, this month because, well, man needs some sleeves for his extra deck, seeing as the sleeves that we got, I've kind of got some unsleeved side deck as well. And also one of the reasons that we did buy this is for side deck cards as well, guys, because we don't have a lot of good side deck cards. I actually don't have a lot of good side deck cards, and this is a set that gives us great hand traps, great main deck cards, great proc staples, and also just side deck cards galore. So yeah, just a lot of reasons to actually buy this set, and it's definitely going to help us throughout the sealed only league as well, giving us a lot more opportunities to interact with our opponent, stop them from playing the game, and just get us in a much better position. So yeah, first box of Duel Devastator though. I have not actually opened one of these before, as I said. It seems like, oh, does that actually stick to the bottom? Because like you got this bit here that's actually cool, I guess. It actually has a sticky bottom. Interesting. But yeah, we're going to be opening up this now. Let's see what we actually get in it. So, not as much as I thought we would get, but it's also really good for storage, it looks like, because of, as I said, I've never opened one of these before, but it looks like it has this huge bit here that just allows you to divide your cards, and this is actually good because it means I can put all those cards that I've been getting from the sealed only league in something, and we get some deck dividers too. Not deck dividers, field centers. So let's actually open the, well, there's a ton of round white stuff on my hand now. That's a bit disgusting, but let's see what the field centers are we actually get, because the field centers are kind of cool. So we got this is actually a really nice Yugi field center. I actually like this. This is actually really cool. We got a My Valentine one as well, along with a, it's the girl scale that came in Duel Devastator. I don't know her name, but yeah, that's nice. And a Dogwood one. You know, in the other one, I kind of actually hope we get a Ash Blossom one, because even though it's the Ash Blossom feet one, it would still be kind of nice to actually get me all this cardboard. But yeah, like, that's actually really cool to actually have. It's actually got a nice divider bit in the middle. That's actually really nice for storage. I'll actually use this even after the sealed only league for just storage purposes. But there's this white stuff on my hand though that I don't really like. But we'll put this to the side now and see what we actually get in this. So there should be a little tag here or something that will let me open it. Oh, okay, I just sling my finger across it and then it instantly appears on the front. But as you can see, the first card that we actually get in this is a Ghost Ogre, and Ghost Ogre is just a really insane card to have. It will be very useful. I'll definitely be putting it in the deck just for the fact that it's a card that can just disrupt our opponents and get rid of their bit monsters in a full go. And even if they're playing Floodgate cards, then this could potentially get rid of that as well. Winter Cherries, I don't think we're going to have any use for it, because for me to actually use this, I'd have to buy like the Shadow Structure deck or pull it in Duvo or Dual Overload construct. So I don't know if we'll be ending up using this. The Ash Blossom is definitely a really good card to have, because honestly, I've been seeing so many cards that I would want to Ash Blossom, and now having the ability to Ash Blossom is going to be so useful throughout the sealed only league, and I'm really happy with actually being able to get this, and we'll have actually 2 throughout this as well, which is really nice. Haunted Mansion is just a really good card that we could potentially use. We could use it against the Shadow strategy, because obviously they do have stuff that will revive them from the graveyard, such as their Rest Shadow Fusion, and they also have cards such as all their Shadow monsters that recycle their fusion spells, so that could be something we use. Spooky Dogwood, this is actually something I could go into side deck, because going into time in the sealed only league is very disgusting, and if our opponent sends special summon in time, then we just gain a ton of life points. This is the new one, Red Blossom from the Underroot. This is actually something I don't know what it really does. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 spell or trap card in each graveyard, banish them, and if you do, special summon this card. Wait, what? And is that the hand trap? No, it's not during either player's turn effect, but this can actually be really useful against the Shadow deck, so that's actually something kind of cool. Also, you can tribute this card, then target 1 Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster in either player's graveyard. Banish that target, and if you do, special summon 1 monster from your graveyard with a different monster card type. Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link from that target. Okay, so it's basically just like a revival card that can also banish our opponent's Shadow cards, so that's kind of cool. I like Justice Catasta, not a card that we're going to use, but it's a good extra deck card. Like, honestly, one of the reasons I bought this for this set as well is for the extra deck stuff, because like you got stuff like Ice Barrier, Brionic, you got Metaphys Horus, Black Rose Dragon, Clearwing Fast Dragon. This is the first set I believe this was actually released in for Europe, so this set made this playable. Stardust Spark Dragons, Scarlight, Red Dragon Archery. Now, if we ever get to be able to use this could be actually a really useful card, because this is just something that can burn and deal a lot of damage. Trishula, that's actually something really nice too, just for the fact that we can banish 1 from hand, field, and graveyard. Vermilion Mech, and now we get into the actual area where we need to be, the Xyz monsters, because I really did buy this set for 2 reasons. 1, to get really good staple cards that we could use, and 2, for extra deck cards, because we don't have a good extra deck right now. We only have the Nightmare cards, and that is really it, and I wanted to be started getting stuff that would be able to use against that. So getting stuff like Abyss Dweller is absolutely insane, especially against Shadows, because we can just go ahead and summon the Abyss Dweller, and then they have no Shadow effects for the turn, so that's really good. 101 Another really, really good card that I'm going to probably put in the extra deck, just being able to steal opponents' monsters is absolutely insane and protect itself. Castel, another really good one. Like, honestly, in the Machina strategy, we can actually summon these cards very easily, because all we need to do is summon our Machina Possessed Storage with a Machina Gearframe Engraved, and then we can just go ahead and go into straight rank 4 play, which is actually really, really nice. And Tornado Dragon gives us another MST target outside of the Nightmare Phoenix, which is really good too. Going into Link monsters we get Underclock Taker, Lang Thelonious, guys. If these aren't really stuff that we're going to be using, I might use the Underclock Taker, because if we summon the Machina Citadel to as own it points to, we can go ahead and target our opponent's monster, make it have barely anything, so that's really nice. Extended Code Talker, Tropological Bomber Dragon is another card I might play as well, just for the burn effect. Saruja Skuldred is another card as well. DD Crow, another really good hand trap, along with Effect Veiler that we're probably going to play to be able to interact with our opponent. Gate Blocker, Denko Sekka is a really good card against just back row decks in general. Another card that we could potentially play, which is really, really nice. Inspector Border, I'm never playing this. No. Spell Canceller, this is side deck for Shadows. That is actually a good card. And you're probably thinking, why? Well, all the Machina monsters, and hear me out here, all the Machina monsters special summon themselves from the hand. So I can just go ahead and tribute whatever I special summon to summon out Spell Canceller. That's a good card. That's a really good side deck option for us in the Sealed Only League. That Lancia, Vanity's Fiend is another really good card that we could side as well. Majesty's Fiend is a good card. Pancrochops, oh, that's going in the side deck. Kaijus, that's really good as well. Mind Control. If I ever feel like Wave Motion Cannon, I guess. Super Polymerization, I don't think I'm ever going to use it, but if we ever get the targets, it's definitely a potential use. Book of Eclipse, that's a really nice card. Silent Graveyard, just really good against Shadows there as well. That could be really nice. Rarity upgrade, our Cosmic Cyclones, I guess. Called by the Grave, this is going in. This is going in. Called by the Grave is a sick card to play. This is going in our deck. Different Dimension Ground, another really good side deck card that we can side against Shadows. Typhoon is a really good card. Forbidden Apocrypha. Different Dimension Barrier. This card is going to be so insane throughout the entire Sealed Only League for a lot of reasons. One, this card will stop Shadows. This card will stop Zodiac. This card will stop Ice Barriers. Anything that Synchro, Fusions, or Links, this card will stop. And we're playing this card in the side deck, or even in the main deck potentially, because being able to stop those decks is just absolutely insane. Lost Wind, really good card there as well. Heavy Storm Duster could be good if for a side deck choice. Roll Decree, really nice. Anti-Spell Fragrance, I could play this against Shadows. There Can Only Be One is another really good side deck card. Wiretap, upgrade to upgrade our Solemn Strikes. And then Red Reboot as well, if we ever do end up going against those cards. Like, this is actually a really good thing that I bought. Like, I didn't even know a lot of these cards were in here. I mainly just bought this because I knew like Ash Blossom and stuff was in here, and there was like good side deck cards as well, like Spell Canceller and also like Pancrochops. And like for the extra deck cards, like the extra deck cards was the main reason, and also like the Ash Blossoms, the main reason that I bought this. So yeah, that's actually really, really good to actually be able to get all of this stuff. And seeing as we've got another one, we're just going to open this up and see what we actually get from the field centers, because I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what we would actually get from our field centers in this, and we're going to see that. And I'll probably end up organizing all the cards after this, because we're going to have to go ahead, order the cards and actually build our deck. So let's go ahead and open it up, see what we got. Same sort of interior again. The white stuff is on my hand still. I really don't like this white stuff. I feel like they used something that really shouldn't have been used. But let's see what we got. And it looks like we got a Ghost Reaper field center. That's really nice. I'm hoping for the Ash Blossom one, just because that, like, I feel like that would be a nice looking one. So let's see if we get it. So the field center is Ice Blossom, Ghost Ogre, Joey Wheeler, and oh, we got. So you can't. So it's not two protagonist ones and two hand trap ones. It's literally just a chance of random ones. It's just random whatever. And we got a duplicate, man. I don't want a duplicate, but nonetheless, guys, we have obviously opened this up. We've got all these cards here as well, which are the same cards. I'm not gonna fiddle around for 10 years trying to open this one either. But yeah, we've got all these cards as well for our side deck, for our main deck, and we've got a lot of changes to actually make to our Machina strategy now as well. Just having so many new cards to potentially use in our Machina strategy. deck in our Machina strategy. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and go over to the deck profile portion of the video now, where I'll show you guys the deck build that we're going to be playing, and hopefully you guys will like it, because honestly, we've got a lot of new cards to add to the deck. We've got a lot of changes we're going to make to the deck now. So let's go ahead and move over to the deck building portion of the video, where I'll show you guys the new updated Machina deck profile. So I have made so many changes to this deck. Like, you would not believe what Duel Devastator has actually done to this deck. It's changed it so much that there's so many new cards in it. There's an entire side deck now. I have different sleeves for my extra deck so I can actually sleeve everything up. Thank you, Blue Sleeves, for being cheap on Amazon. It's in my budget. Thank you, Lord. And oh my god, I'm so happy to actually be able to upgrade the deck like this. Like, honestly, like, being the first time that I've ever bought Duel Devastator and already having this large card pool in my collection, it's really kind of a good feeling to know that I've been able to just buy one thing and get like this huge upgrade to my entire deck, and I'm really happy that this whole deck is now something I can actually be really happy playing. I feel like I can move any of these cards into any other strategy and it'll be a lot better as well, and that makes me really happy there too. But this is my Machina deck profile for the Sealed Only League. I put so many new cards in it. The extra deck is now completely upgraded. I now have an entire 15 card extra deck, whereas before I was only playing 9 cards. I now have an entire 15 card side deck, whereas before I was only playing 12 cards because I didn't really have anything I needed to side. And I'm really happy to be able to actually show you guys the updated version of the Machina structure deck that I have for the Sealed Only League. So guys, without further ado, let's actually get into the deck profile to show you guys the upgrades to this deck, because honestly, I'm so happy to have all these upgrades, and it makes the deck so much better in my opinion, and I'll show you that also in the duel video as well. So yeah, let's actually get into this, starting off with the main deck, which is, well, 2 Citadel. We're still playing 2 Citadel. You don't want to draw it, you don't want it in your opening hand, you can't summon it by any other means but a card effect, so, well, you're just going to have him at 2 in the main deck. You don't want to draw him, as I said, and if you do draw him, it kind of sucks, so you really just want him to be able to discard with effects, or just so you can go ahead and send him to graveyard with stuff like Scrap Recycler, or searching him out with the Machina spell card, or anything along those lines, so we're only playing 2 of him. We're also only playing 2 Machina Fortress. I cut this down to 2 because I felt like throughout the tournament, this was the weakest Machina monster in the main deck. It didn't really do anything outside of just being a big monster to summon, and just like Machina Citadel, it was a card that I never really wanted to see in my opening hand, because I would normally just end up discarding it for like an Air Raider or something along those lines, and its main effect doesn't even go off majority of the time, it being targeted by a monster effect or destroyed by battle. So I felt like, hey, I don't really need it, I'll cut it down to 2, and I feel like it's going to be a lot better at 2, so we're playing 2 of this now as well. We're still playing 3 Irradiator because he summons one from the graveyard. Being able to summon Machina monsters from the graveyard is really good, and this will be able to destroy other things, so we can also proc the effect of our Machina Citadel in our graveyard as well. Will be really good there too, and you can just go ahead and get infinite advantage back and revive your Machina possessed storage by destroying itself and just summon it back as well, which is really good. We're also playing 3 Machina Air Raider because Air Raider just summons from the deck during your opponent's turn. It gives you advantage. It procs your effective Citadel during your opponent's turn. It's just really good, and to be honest, with the upgrades to the extra deck, I want more ways to summon more monsters, and this giving me more ways to summon more monsters is just really nice. So we're playing 3 of this as well. We're still playing 3 Gear Frame. As I said in the previous video, this is Stratos, so you're always going to have the ability to go ahead and normal summon him, then search out a Machina monster, be it a Citadel, be it an Air Raider, be it anything along those lines, and just get to the main monster that you actually need. And also, his other effect actually comes in handy a lot more as well, from what I realized against Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was playing against him, because obviously against back row that destroys, this card protects your monsters. So if I have like Citadel and this on board, I can just go ahead and equip it to the Citadel, and then it's protected. So Gear Frame was something I realized actually second effect is a lot better as well. So this is actually a really good card at 3, which should always be up 3 too. So
play this at 3. Also playing 2 Machina Possessed Storage still. I feel like it's the weakest normal summon from the deck, and it's the weakest normal summon in general, because first of all, its first effect is really good, where when it's summoned, you get to go ahead and summon a Machina monster from your graveyard, which is really, really strong, don't get me wrong. It gives you the ability to get to any of your Machina monsters in your graveyard, which is really nice. It gives you the ability to get a free summon, it gives you the ability to get more monsters for a link summon, it gives you an instant rank 4 access if you've got a gear frame in the graveyard. It gives you so many advantages, but early game, it's not really good, and I found myself in the tournament as well, just wanting it to summoning it from the deck with my Air Raider, so during my opponent's turn, I can get that additional body, so I can get to that additional card that will allow me to play the game. So I've kind of decided to keep this at 2, and its second effect never comes up as well, where I just target one opponent's back row to return a Machina to my hand. So it's because it doesn't destroy the back row, it just removes it, so it's not that good of a card, and I felt like this 2 is still fine, and it's really, really good, don't get me wrong. It's a really strong card in the Machina strategy, just for the fact that it's a free summon from the graveyard and gives you access into your link pool, it gives you access into your rank 4 pool, but it just doesn't do a lot outside of that, so I really only want this at 2 because I summoned it from the deck in general as well. We also play free Scrap Recycler. It sends Machina Citadel to the graveyard, that's all it's there for. Normal summon it, send Citadel to the graveyard, crash this into an opponent's monster, summon Citadel, Raigeki, you get the drill. Literally all that card does, and we play 3 of this because it's essentially that. We want to be able to get to our Machina Citadel. And upgrades to the hand trap area, because we weren't playing hand traps before. We're playing 2 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. Sadly, the Feet Edition, but we're playing 2 Ash Blossoms. Ash Blossom is going to be an insane card in the Sealed Only League, being able to stop our opponent's Shadow Fusions, being able to stop any search cards, being able to stop stuff like Fleet Barrage, being able to stop any Foolish Burial effects, being able to stop Sinister Shadow games against Shadows, being able to stop the Ice Barrier searching card if we go up against Ice Barriers again, being able to stop Solomon Great or Mathmech cards if we go up against the Mathmech Solomon Great guy again. Like, legit, this card is going to be so useful. Ash Blossom is just an insane card and a really good addition to our deck. And we're also playing 2 Effect Veiler, because throughout the tournament I realized that our opponents' main play strategy is through their monsters, so playing Effect Veiler is just going to be a really useful card, being able to just drop the Effect Veiler, look at our opponent, be like, yeah, I negate that, now you can't continue on with your plays. Be against the Ice Barrier one that gets you discard and then special summon from the deck, be against Shadows that play Cross Sheep, which is why I lost game 1 in round 3 last month, and or use it against the Construct to stop them from sending to the graveyard. Just a lot of things that you can do with the Effect Veiler is going to be really useful during our opponent's turn. So I felt like Effect Veiler was just really, really nice in that fact too. So yeah, we're playing 2 Effect Veiler. And that's the monsters though. Monster lineup I feel is very strong. I have no gripes with the monster lineup. I feel like it's gonna be a really, really good lineup for this month of the Sealed Only League, especially seeing as now we've got the hand traps in here. We've got pretty much everything the same, and with slight changes with the Fortress 2. I feel like it's even better than it was last month, and I'm actually quite happy with this month's lineup, just because we obviously got the new hand traps, which are just absolutely insane. The hand traps from 2 are so good throughout the next month of Sealed Only. And but going into spell cards now, we're playing 3 Machina Redeployment. This card, throughout the tournament, I realized is even more insane than I had originally expected. Discard any card, search 2 Machina monsters, be it a Machina Redeployment, a Machina Air Raider, a Machina Citadel, anything along those lines. Absolutely insane. And if I just want to discard a Machina card, then I can just go ahead and search any Machina cards from the deck, be it the Machina Trap card or any of the Machina monsters as well. Dumb card, absolutely insane. Basically a double rotor, which is just madness. It's actual insanity how good this card is. So we are obviously going to be playing it for free. 3 Cosmic Cyclone with the 1 common because of Dual Overload. Dual Devastator. Still, I'm worried about back row. Having ways to get rid of back row is just really strong and really good, so I want to keep playing the 3 Cosmic Cyclone to essentially have more ways to deal with our opponent's back row. So 3 Cosmic, just so we can still have that, back row stopping potential, and also really good to stop Super Polymerization. 1 Called by the Grave, because Called by the Grave is just really strong. We can use it against Shadows to be able to deal with their constructs that could be in the graveyard and negate the effects of any of the Shadows they send to the graveyard. graveyard. They go ahead and use Mr. Shadow Game, send a Windy, we go ahead and banish the Windy. They send a Skomata, we banish the Skomata. Again, stuff like Salamangreat, because I do know they're in the tournament, we can go ahead and banish their Spinny or Gazelle. We can do a lot of things with Called by the Grave, and if we do end up playing against hand traps this month, which I'm assuming a lot of people are actually going to try and get hand traps this month, this card will come in handy, just be able to stop our opponent's hand traps from stopping us from playing the game. So Called by the Grave is just really strong. And then the last spell is Monster Reborn. I don't feel like I need to go into Monster Reborn anymore. I said why I chose it as this month's Lost Star, and it's just going to be a really, really insane card this month overall. So we're playing the one Monster Reborn. And into traps though, we're playing still free Machina Overdrive. To be honest, I'm kind of skeptical still about playing this card at free, because it's a trap card that you need to have a monster on board to destroy to actually be able to trigger it and special summon from the deck. It doesn't give you all the advantages that you would really want out of all of your Machina cards, and seeing as this is a card that, yes, it's very powerful being able to just sit up in the deck, and also has the ability to banish itself to recycle your Machina monsters, be it they're banished from your graveyard, which has actually helped me in round 3 of the sealed only league because I was able to put back my Citadels. It's something that I'm kind of still 50-50 on, not sure if I really want it to be in the deck, and I'm still kind of just like skeptical. Do I really want to be playing this at free? But for the pure fact that it gives us the ability to just destroy any machine monster, summon any machine monster from the deck, we're keeping it at 3 for now. I might put it down to 2 at some point, but I feel like 3 is just a really good cut number for this card still, so we'll keep it at 3 for now. We're also playing 2 Lost Wind. Lost Wind, just an insane card. Target special summon monster, half its attack. If they summon from the extra deck, reset it onto the board. It's a really good card. It halves their attack. It gives us more leeway to be able to prevent our opponent from playing the game, and I just feel like this is a really strong card to have at 2 in the deck. I would probably change this out for probably Imperms if I ever got Imperms, but honestly, this seems really good, and this and also other products we might be trying to get will get cards that will probably replace this, such as Dino-Miscus and also Compulse. But right now, Lost Wind is our best bet, and I feel like Lost Wind is just good at 2. We're also playing the free Solemn Strike, of course, the 2 new ultra rare ones as well. Solemn Strike is a really insane card, have to play it at 3. And then 2 Solemn Judgment to just negate anything our opponent tries to do. So that's the main deck. The main deck I feel like is really strong. I don't really have any gripes with it. I feel like we've got everything we could need. Like, the only things that we do really need to try and get next month are like another Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs and maybe another Effect Veiler, just so we can have more hand trap disruption. But I feel like the lineup is really, really strong, and I feel like everything in this deck is well balanced and has a good number of ratios, so we can actually guarantee that we'll be able to play the game. But going on to the extra deck though, the cards that we upgraded the most out of this, because the extra deck was the weakest part of our entire strategy. We start off with 1 Underclock Taker because, well, I was kind of skeptical on playing Underclock Taker in this deck, but the reason I am actually playing it in the deck is because, well, 1, it only takes 2 monsters, so it is generic. It's very easy to summon. And 2, because, well, I just summoned Citadel to a zone it points to, and then I decrease an opponent's monster by 3k. So I can get over pretty much any monster I want in the game right now with this card, as long as I can target it. So I felt like that was just a really good card to play. And if I really don't want it after that and I have an additional monster, I can just go ahead and link it away into another linked monster, which is just as good. So it's just a really decent card that I felt like would be useful in our deck, and with Citadel being able to decrease my 3k, just a nice card there as well. We're still playing the 1 Star Leader Dragon. It's just there. We have, if we summon a Machina Citadel and it points to it, we can go ahead and we've got 1 in hand, we can just summon the other one from hand. Literally just there for that. I don't see this card ever coming up for any other reasons, but we can also use it for potential link plays as well. Xyz plays, where we just go ahead and if we've got a Possessed Storage in his own it points to, and we've got like a Gear Frame, or we've got another Possessed Storage in hand, we can just go ahead and special summon it and then go into an Xyz play as well, which can come up at times, but it's just, it's an alright strategy to have just in the background. We're also playing 1 Ancient Gear Ballista still. Obviously we're playing the Underclock Taker, but I feel like this is still a really good card, just being able to send a spell and trap card to the graveyard, turn an opponent's monsters to 0, in attack and defense to 0 is just really strong still, so I feel like having this as a 1-of in the deck is going to help us quite a bit still as well. We're also playing the 1 Nightmare Phoenix, the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, because these 2 cards are obviously just good removal cards, and if we do ever get into a point where we can, you know, like do this, then we can draw 2 cards per turn, so that would be really nice. But yeah, so that's nice. We're also playing 1 Extended Code, Decode Talker Extended, and The reason we're playing this card specifically is because I didn't know this card had an effect. And I read this card's effect, and I was instantly like, wow, this could actually be very, very useful. And that's because I read this card, and basically it's Decode Talker. It gives 500 attack for every monster it points to, but if a monster, during your battle phase, if a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or and sent to the graveyard, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. So why I've chosen to put this into the deck is because if our opponent has a monster here, and it can point to Decode Talker Extended, then we can just go ahead and attack that monster with this, destroy it, send it to the graveyard, and then attack for potentially another free damage. So essentially this is a BLS Link monster in a sense that just gives us an additional attack, which is actually really strong when you really think about it in the sealed only league. So I chose to play it because of that. It seems to be like a really good choice in my personal opinion. So we're playing the one extended Decode Talker, the Decode Talker Extended for that reason alone. We're also playing one Nightmare Griffin though still because we've never used it, but it could come up at some point. One Saruja Skuldred because we can actually go ahead and just link it, draw 4 cards, we put 3 back. If we had the Citadel, summon the Citadel with its effect, and that Citadel goes up to free attack. There's no reason not to do this. So Saruja Skuldred, just a decent card there as well. One Topological Bomber Dragon because it's Raigeki, and it's just another form of Raigeki, and we can just go ahead and attack a monster. It dies, we deal damage equal to its attack, then we do more damage overall time, so just a really good card there too. And that's all the Link monsters, but going into the XC's monsters we're playing 2 Abyss Dweller. Shadows everywhere. I want to play a card that says no to Shadows. This card says no to every Shadow effect, so we're playing the 2 Abyss Dweller. 2 Castel, same reason as Abyss Dweller, but instead of being a card that just affects Shadows, this affects everything. So if our opponent goes ahead and special summons from the graveyard, so it has a monster on board or a card on board that we don't want, then we've got 2 Castels to be able to shuffle it away into the deck or the extra deck, so we can just remove it from the board and get rid of it that way. Or we can just set it, you know, if you want to use Castel to set cards, but we're going to be mainly, majority of the time, just shuffling it back into the deck. And then we're playing 1 Silent Honor Arc, so we can go ahead and suck up our opponent's special summon monsters, and also have ways to just protect the Silent Honor Arc, and just do more damage. And then the last card is 1 Tornado Dragon, because Tornado Dragon just says MST, just like Nightmare Phoenix. It's an alternative route if we want to go down the Tornado Dragon, because if we don't want to discard the Nightmare Phoenix. So that's the extra deck. Honestly, Dual Overload has improved our extra deck so much, by so many degrees. We've got so many new cards that we can use that are just really useful. We've got Abyss Dwellers now, we've got Castels, we've got Silent Honor, Tornado Dragon, we've got some Link monsters, like really good ones like Underclock Taker, Extended, we've got Saruja and Topological Bomber Dragon. Dual Devastator, honestly, this month was such a good unlock for me, and I didn't even realize some of these cards were in the set, because this is the first time I've actually opened the set. So, just a really good there as well. But now, I actually have a proper side deck for the Sealed Only League. I didn't really have a proper side deck before the Sealed Only League, so... well, sorry, during the Sealed Only League for the last 2 months, but now, thanks to this month of the Sealed Only League and Dual Devastator, I actually have a really good side deck for the Sealed Only League. So let's actually go into this. So starting off, we're playing the 1 Pancratops, just an insane card overall. It's a really strong side deck card, just being a free special summon. You attack, you then pop something with it by tributing it. Just a really strong card in general, and obviously you're going to be playing this because of that reason. We're also playing 2 DD Crow in the side deck, because DD Crow just gives us the ability to banish cards from our opponent's graveyard during their turn. If we're up against something like Shadows, then this card is absolutely insane. So really good there too, or against Sudden Grades or something along those lines. 2 Spell Counselor. As I said when opening this product, this card is actually really good in this deck for a couple of reasons. One, it stops all the Shadow spells. It stops every single Shadow spell. It stops every spell card in the game without fail. Oh, you want to activate that spell card? Nah, man, sorry, Spell Counselor says it's negated. You want to go ahead and try defusing something? Nah, Spell Counselor says it's negated. Oh, you want to activate your Zodiac Barrage? Nah, Spell Counselor says it's negated. Oh, you want to activate Reinforcements? Yeah, nah, sorry, Spell Counselor says it's negated. This card is so insane and so easy to summon in the deck, because all we literally need to summon it from our hand is like either of these 2 with a Machina Monster. Because legit, we just go ahead, discard a Machina Monster, summon it from the hand, tribute it, summon out the Spell Counselor, and then look at our opponent and be like, yeah, you can't summon it now. Cool. sick. Nice. And that's absolutely insane how Spell Canceller is just really strong in our strategy, and we'll be able to stop so many things our opponent does. So I'm really, really happy to have Spell Canceller in the deck now. Continuing on though, we're also playing 2 Gamecill, switch out the Jesus Heroes, put in the weaker ones, which is the Kaiju, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. This card is just really strong, being a card that just says, oh, we're 20 for 200, we tribute over our opponent's boss monster. I don't know if I'll ever side these in. I didn't side in the Kaijus in the last round in the Sealed Only League for last month, but we might side them in this time just because Gamecill is a weaker one and it will give us opponent more of an advantage. We're also playing 2 Vanity's Fiend because, well, yes, we negate all... I wanted... Basically, because we've already got the Spell Cancellers, I wanted another way to prevent our opponent from using, like, gaining free advantage. So I chose to put in the Vanity's Fiends, because what this does is we can go ahead and just get the free summoners before, like I said, and we can just go ahead and normal summon this, tribute summon this, and then we can just go ahead and start beating down our opponent. And seeing as it's a normal summon, there's not a lot of ways to actually stop it unless our opponent has a Pulse or a TT or a Bottomless Trap Hole. And if we get it out turn 1, our opponent is pretty much dead in the water, to say at least, because they're playing Shadows, their super polymerizations can't be used on it, they can't special summon, they can't really do much, and if we go ahead and if we're playing up against a deck that any deck that special summons or needs to special summons and we don't have the out, then Vanity's Fiend is just going to win us the game there. So it's free summon, it's as easy to summon as Spell Canceller, so we're playing the 2 Vanity's Fiend as well. Going into trap cards though, we're playing 2 different Dimension Grounds. The reason behind this again is Shadows. They send so many things to the graveyard, we just go ahead and flip it, all cards they send to the graveyard this turn are banished. Sadly, it can affect us because of obviously our monsters get banished as well. So if we do destroy our Citadel or we do use the effect of like an Air Raider or stuff before using this, we can take a bit of the hit back as well if our opponent does that. But seeing as we've got stuff to recycle our monsters anyway through Machina Overdrive, I don't see it as a big loss majority of the time, as long as we can get it back. And this will be a really effective against the Hunter Hills, so I feel like it's nice there. 2 different dimension barriers. This card is going to be absolutely insane throughout the tournament. If I flip this against the Shadow Fusion, if I flip this against a normal summon with Zodiac, their turn's pretty much going to be over. They can't Xyz summon, they can't synchro, they can't link summon, they can't synchro. I can just call whatever I want and stop their turn instantly there. Insane card, especially for the Sealed Only League. And then finally, 2 Royal Decree. The reason behind the 2 Royal Decree is because, well, looking at our opponents in the Sealed Only League, a lot of them are playing trap cards, and seeing as against Yu-Gi-Oh, when I played him, his deck was pretty much just a few Zodiac cards with just like all trap cards, all purple cards. I felt like, well, Royal Decree is probably a really good card to side deck, so it's just a card to have. So we have obviously the spell outing, so we can stop our opponent from using our spells, but we also have the ability to stop all of their traps as well. So that's pretty much the logic behind of this. But that's everything, guys. That's literally everything. That's the entire deck. That's everything you need to see involving the updates to the Sealed Only decks. Honestly, I can't wait to take this into the Sealed Only League tournament, but for now we're just gonna have to deal with going into the Sealed Only episode duel part of the video. So guys, we're gonna move over to duels now. This has been it. We've got all these nice field centers as well to use in the duel videos too, so no, we're not gonna use those in duel videos. But anyway guys, let's go over and move on to the duels. Gone over the deck profile, we've opened the product, we've talked about the rounds this week. Let's actually get into some games with our updated list of Machina. Now, clearly, this is the updated list. We've got everything in here. It's all, well, now it's all sorted. Everything is done. This is the deck that we are playing for the Sealed Only League, with probably a few changes because of the next episode is coming next week, of course, of the Sealed Only League. But this is the list we're currently playing. This is the list that has been upgraded so much. Look at the extra deck. Look at the side deck. I'm so happy to have this upgraded finally. And we're going to be taking it into a match on EDO Pro, because EDO Pro is the easiest place to play. We're playing on TCG. We're playing best of 3, obviously. And we're going to see if we can win a match with this deck. Obviously, we've got an upgraded side deck now, so we've got a lot of cards that we can potentially use. We've got an upgraded extra deck, so we can actually go ahead and go into that. We have so many choices and so many ways to play the game. I'm really, really hoping that we can get into it. So, Kono Dioda, Jojo, Dioda. JoJo references everywhere, man. But opening hand, really, really strong. We have got everything we need in this opening hand, so we're going to obviously start off by normal summoning our Machina Gearframe, which is going to go ahead and search from our deck our Machina Citadel. We've now got everything we pretty much need to play the game, so we're going to go ahead and use our Air Raider effect, discarding the Citadel, and summoning the Air Raider from the hand, and we're going to set 2 and pass. So, not bad opening hand. We've got a Raigeki on lock, we've got a Lost Wind to interact with our opponent, we've got Machina Overdrive to summon another Machina Citadel from the deck, we've got pretty much everything that we can want. We can summon any Machina from our deck, we can summon the Citadel multiple times this turn technically, if I really, really wanted to. So, let's see what we're going to actually be up against. So, our opponent does set 1 card face down. Is he playing a Mech Knight deck? Like, if he set 1 card, I'm assuming he's going to be playing, like, a Mech Knight deck, so he can go ahead and try and summon the Mech Knight in the same column as our Machina Gearframe. We'll just have to see what he actually summons, because if he summons a Blue Sky, I'm probably just going to go ahead and use the Overdrive. No, he's playing Shadows! So, we're actually playing against a Shadow player, and this is good practice for our actual matches against Shadows. So, he's going to go ahead and use his El Shadow Fusion. I would have loved to have been able to summon out the Dweller turn 1, but obviously we can't do that. That's not the play that we've currently got online. So he's going to go ahead and use his El Shadow Fusion. I would assume he would try and summon like a Winder or an App Cologne, just so I can only have 1 summon during this turn. But he sends those 2 to the graveyard. Okay, so he is summoning the Winder though. So he's going to send a card to the graveyard with Skomata, and he's going to get a free summon with his Wendy, and he's obviously done this so he can prevent me from getting multiple summons on this turn, because the Air Raider would destroy something and then I'll just get a ton of summons, but it's fine because of now all I need to do is still just use the Overdrive to kill the Machina Gearframe, and then I can summon the Citadel from the deck. So I don't really care that he's gone ahead and summoned a Winder and locked me into 1 summon, because I do have the Overdrive. Kind of the reason I still play it up free. It's still a really, really strong card, but I'm just kind of skeptical to if I want to still play the card up free. Like, it's just like that. But he's going to go ahead and send the Dragon to the graveyard, and he's going to go ahead and summon the Shadow Monster from the deck. What will the Shadow Monster be? Depending on what he targets with the Dragon as well. If he targets the Overdrive, I'm just going to instantly use it, and if he targets the Lost Wind, I'm just going to instantly use it anyway. So I feel pretty confident in the situation that we're in, even no matter what he hits with the Dragon. So he's going to go ahead and attempt to destroy 1 spell or trap card. He does target our Overdrive, and when he does that, I'm going to go ahead and use the Overdrive to go ahead and destroy the Gearframe, and we're going to go ahead and summon a Citadel from the deck. So he's going to pretty much just going to have to go into his end phase after this. So go ahead and summon the Citadel, and we're going to see what he chooses to do from here. Now, when he enters the end phase is when I'm going to actually go ahead and use the Lost Wind, because I'm going to use the Lost Wind on the Winder, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Air Raider, pop the Citadel. Citadel's going to go to grave, and then I'm going to go ahead and summon from the deck a Possessed Storage, and then I'm going to go ahead and summon the Machina Citadel back as well, because face up Earth Machine was destroyed. I did not have Always Chain on. Damn it! Always have Always Chain on. So that's kind of upsetting, but it's fine. We can still deal with it. But we're going to just go ahead and set our Solemn Strike in this column, because I'm a little scared of Imperm. I don't really want to risk the Imperm happening, so we're going to go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do as well, though, is I could go for a Link play to just destroy his back row, but I think the best play here is just go into the battle phase, attack the Winder. Sure, he'll go ahead and get the El Shadow Fusion back, but it gets rid of the Winder, it gets a bit of damage in, and it puts me in a better position overall. So we're just going to go ahead and attack the Winder, send the Winder to the graveyard. I'm now on Always Chain, so put it back on normal chain. So the Winder goes to the graveyard. He's going to go ahead and be able to get the Eldol back from the graveyard, which is fine by me. I don't mind that. And I'm just going to go ahead and end turn there. There's no point in doing anything else. So we go ahead and end turn. I'll go ahead and put Always Chain back on, and we shall see what our opponent has. Now, if he flips the Beast, I think I will use the Solemn Strike, because I can't really use the Solemn Strike at any other point in time, and I've got the Lost Wind anyway, so it's fine doing that. So he's going to go ahead and flip the Beast, he's going to go ahead and use the Beast's effect, and I'm going to go ahead and Solemn Strike that, just so we can prevent him from getting the free 2 draws and the discard, because that can give you a lot of that advantage in Shadows, and I don't want him to be getting all this free advantage, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And what is our opponent going to do now? They've got 4 cards in hand. He's got an Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight's really strong here, actually, because he just gets to send any Shadow card to the graveyard. So we'll see what he goes ahead and sends. Well, he can't send the Windy, so that's probably the best thing. Well, actually, no, he can just send the Skomata, then send the Windy. So he's probably going to send the Skomata, though, just so he can send the Wendy and get a free summon from the deck, and then potentially go ahead and use that El Shadow Fusion, because he might not have any other Shadow monsters in hand. Like, we don't know what our opponent currently has. That's the thing. He doesn't have like an Ash Blossom though. That one's kind of obvious because if he did have an Ash Blossom, he would have most likely used it. So he's going to actually send a Falco to the graveyard, and I'm absolutely fine with him summoning the Falco. Because the Falco is not a big deal, and I can prevent its flip effect because I've got the Lost Wind set. So we'll just see where our opponent goes from here. So he sets the Falco. We'll see what he does. Like, I'm not too sure where he might be planning to go, because depending on what this man does really depend on how we play our strategy. And I know exactly what I'm going to do on the end phase. So he's going to go ahead and use a Shadow Core. So the Shadow Core is absolutely fine by me. I don't mind him summoning the Core, because if he does activate the El Shadow Fusion, then what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and use the Citadel effect to go ahead and Raigeki the board. So that way he has to use more cards in his hand. And I'll be able to summon the Citadel back from the graveyard again anyway, so it's actually fine if he does do that. So let's see. He's going to probably go ahead and use the Eldolf Fusion now to attempt to get into some more advantage. What attribute do you make it? He gets as a dark attribute. Interesting choice, because you can substitute it for any attribute. So we're going to go ahead and use the Citadel's effect to go ahead and pop the Citadel, which will then go ahead and allow me to destroy both the Armageddon Knight and also the Shadow Core. So now he's going to have to use that Falco and potentially a card in his hand to go ahead and go into a fusion play. So we'll go ahead and see what he goes ahead and makes. He sent a Falco and also a Core to the grave. So he chose to make the Winder still. Okay, interesting choice. So he goes ahead and does that. I'm going to go ahead and activate... No, not the Overdrive. Why can't I use the Citadel? You can only use each effect of this once per turn. So why am I not allowed to... That's strange. I should have been able to use the Citadel effect there to be able to summon back the Citadel, but it seems to not be allowing me to do that. So... what am I going to do? If a machine monster... If I face a machine monster... it's accept Citadel. Oh, my mistake. Yeah, I'm still getting used to all of the fine details of the Machina deck, so please give me a bit of a break there. But, so he goes ahead and uses the effect of that to go ahead and summon. So I think I'm fine with this. I'm actually fine with this because I can still get everything I want whenever I want it, because I'm going to go click always chain. So, and our opponent does surrender game 1. So game 1 goes to us. We're going into game 2 now. Because we're going into game 2, I feel like I have to put cards in that will prevent him from playing the game, and no, our opponent just completely leaves. They just completely leave. So we got the free win there. And because our opponent just left, I'm going to go ahead and have a single game as well, because I want to play at least 2 games with this, and having that first game is good and all, but having another game would be a lot better. So we're going to go ahead and have another game just to show you guys the updates in action. So we are going to go ahead and see if we can get an opponent. We actually might just go through the randoms here. So let's see. Anything goes, TCG, pre-release, that would do. No, there's not really anyone there. Yeah, it shouldn't take too long to get a match. To be honest, I really do enjoy these games that we have, because it's just a really fun... Sealed only is really fun in general, because you're building a deck from scratch, and building a deck from scratch is just so fun, and playing it as well is really, really fun. So yeah, let's continue on. So we've got a good opening hand again. We've got literally everything we can need to actually play the Machina strategy. And it seems like we're up against a Phantom Knight deck. So this is actually a competitive meta deck now. The Shadow deck was kind of like what we're playing in the Sealed Only League, but this one is not something I'm too happy about playing against. Like, we could get FTK'd, because I know the Phantom Knights are able to FTK thanks to a YouTuber called Decatron. He's someone I watch and he does really good compilations. And also because they can make stuff like Dragoon turn 1, which can hinder us quite a lot. But I should be able to play through a Dragoon. So we'll see what our opponent's going to do. So he goes ahead and gets the Stained Greaves. He might just be playing Pure Phantom Knights, actually. But I think Pure Phantom Knights are even still good right now as well. So we'll go ahead. So he has the Stained Greaves. He's not going to summon the Stained Greaves. He's currently got 4 monsters on board. I doubt he's going to go into anything big with these two, because these two, I believe this one's going to banish itself when it leaves the board. He might choose to go ahead and make a Verti Anaconda. No, he's going into an Xyz play. So he goes ahead and makes a Lever, yeah, so he's going to go ahead and summon back the Ancient Cloak. Interesting. He'll be able to get a Fog Blade with that. So we'll have to deal with it. 1 negate our opponent has. These 3 might go into a Bard each. They are going into a Bard each. Okay, interesting. So the Bard each is going to go ahead and give him more advantage, allowing him to set double Fog Blade. So double Fog Blade will... It won't hinder us entirely, because I should be able to play around it, because I do have the Cosmic Cyclone. but it's not going to be the best for us. I'm going to have to probably use the redeployment, discard the Summon Strike, and then also have the ability, and then just hope we get to places, actually. That's probably the plan. But he goes ahead and sends the Wings to the graveyard, probably going to grab another Fogblade. No, he grabs the rank up Phantom Knight's Force. Okay. I don't actually know, I can't remember what this one does, but I believe it's really good for the Phantom Knight. So you can banish one, so during your main phase, you can banish one or more Dark Monsters from your graveyard, then target one Dark Xyz monster you control, special summon from your extra deck, one Phantom Knight's Raid Raptor or Xyz monster. Okay, so he's going to go ahead and summon back the Cloak and boost his Rusty Bardage. And he's got, there's the Dragoon. There's the thing that I did not want to see. Dragoon is just a really, really unfair card in sealed only. So I don't really have a lot of ways to out the Dragoon. So this is actually a really, really tough time for me now. So we're just going to have to see what happens. Really, because I have very limited options. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the gear frame, and I'm going to kind of hope he just uses the Dragoon, because I really just, I need to trigger the redeployment. But he goes ahead and activates that. I'm going to go ahead and Cosmic Cyclone that one, just because I need to, if I get rid of it, I can go ahead and guarantee this will go through. And he might just choose the Dragoon, thinking that I have to go through with this, and he does go ahead and use the Dragoon, discarding a Seer. So we go ahead and do that. He doesn't trigger the Seer effect. We're going to then go ahead and use our Machinery Deployment, and we're going to go ahead and grab our... You see, right now I've got to think of how I get over the Dragoon. The Dragoon is the big issue. Does this target? You can target one special card and one face-up monster your opponent controls. That one does target. This also targets. I really am not sure how I get around a Dragoon. I guess the extended Decode Talker could potentially get me around it, but there's no way I'm making it right now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and use the Machina Redeployment. We're going to just discard a card, because I would like to use the next turn as well. And we're going to go ahead and add to hand our Irradiator, I think? Well, we're definitely adding a Citadel. And we'll also go ahead and add the... This is a tough choice, because there's not really a lot I have that can get me into positions that I really want right now. So I kind of got to think, where do I want to go with this? We get the Citadel, so we're able to ride Gekki. We get the Air Raider, or we get the Irradiator. We get the Irradiator, I would say. Yeah, we'll get the Irradiator. And then what I can do is, I can go ahead and use the Irradiator's effect to discard a card and special summon it. So we'll go ahead and special summon out. We'll go ahead and discard the Fortress. No, we'll discard the Citadel, and then we can go ahead and discard the Fortress. No, we need to discard the Fortress. So we're trying to get as much advantage on the board as possible right now. So we're going to use the Fortress's effect, discarding the Citadel to summon out the Citadel. And then what I'm going to try and do is, I'm going to go and use... Probably... Oh, this is a tough choice. It really is. The problem is, I could probably get over it. I just need to make it not zero, make it zero, but... Can I do that? So what I think I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and make the Underclock Taker, using this and this. I'm then going to go ahead and use the Irradiator's effect, destroying itself, because I think I can get game. And we're going to go ahead and summon back the Fortress. And then we're going to trigger the Citadel Engrave. We're going to summon the Citadel there. Not using the Citadel's effect. We're going to then use the Underclock Taker's effect, targeting the Citadel, and targeting his Bardage. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and make... I think I just have to go Battle Phase. Yeah, I'm running out of time, so I have to go Battle Phase. I'm going to go ahead and attack the Rusty Bardage, 3000. I'm having a lot of options here, and then I'm going to attack the Verte Anaconda. Like, I got so close. I got so close to the damage we needed, but I can't get the rest of the way. So what I'm going to have to do is, I'm out of time now. Yeah, I'm out of time. Sad. To be honest, that was just a really, really hard board to get around. Like, even though I had all these different options, I just needed to deal 6k damage, which this deck is fully capable of doing. It's just like, I had to, there was so many different routes that I could potentially go down, and I feel like I went down the best one. For what I had, I could have actually done a bit more, maybe. Like, I feel like if he put the Dragoon in this column here, I could have had a game, actually. Because all I would have needed to do, potentially, no, it wouldn't have got me there because the monster wouldn't be in the same column, so I wouldn't be able to attack again with the extra Code Talker. But nonetheless, that was the dueling portion of the video. Guys, this has been really good. Like, this episode of the Sealed Only League is probably one of my favorite episodes of the Sealed Only League now, just for the fact that I've done so much in this episode, and the amount of things that we've done to upgrade our strategy is just absolutely insane. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially now, because if you liking and you subscribing is actually getting me more unlocks for other product to open. Like being able to open Dual Devastator was an unlock because I did well in the tournament, but you guys liking, commenting, and subscribing actually gets me more stuff potential to unlock on the channel. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below so we can go ahead and get more unlocks to make our deck even better with different sets. I think the next set I might be going for is Maximum Gold, just because I feel like there's a lot of good cards in there, like Nibiru and Impermanence, and a lot of extra deck cards like Appaloosa as well that we can go ahead and incorporate into our strategy here. But guys, that has been the video though. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to check out all the other Yu-Gi tubers. Their links are in the description below doing this series. It's really fun to do with all of this, and it's a really cool series to be doing. So guys, thanks so much for watching. As I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Sealed Only League.